Okay, you men.
Be quiet.
They're right there. We know they're here.
It's a
Redress. Did you hear something?
Redress right
I
there.
hear you.
All right.
And redress
Radio
right
silence.
there.
Everybody, be quiet.
And redress right there.
They're gonna
I know they're around here.
And redress right there.
quiet. They're right
And
there.
All right,
redress
get
right
me
there.
back up.
Baby, please.
And redress right
I
there.
want to search this area.
Trouble.
Right
And
here.
redress right there. And redress right there.
I know you all hear that.
And redress
Find
right
them.
there.
Find them now.
Baby, up.
The legal. I want this whole area quarantined now.
And redress right
Nobody is to leave this area at all.
Would you shut that baby up?
I know you heard that.
Make that child be
Find
quiet.
them. Find them now.
Shut that baby up.
All voices done by the Legal Redress Commission. None of this material is copywritten. Feel free to use it as you please. Pretty good, wasn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents. Alright, here it is, a Saturday evening. We're not doing Ice Cube this weekend. We be clubbing. We're not doing that this weekend. We're not doing immature, Batman up in the club. I'm sorry. Anyway, what we're doing is we're sitting up here saying, we're tired. I'm ready to go to sleep, and it's not even 7 p.m. because I'm just tired. I'm not like Marvin Gaye in the background who wants to just go out and party. No, we're not, and that's Marvin Gaye singing live. All right, that's why it sounds a little bit different. Okay, we got a couple of things that we're going to be bringing to y'all's attention. There's a couple of documents that we worked on today. Now, we got all of this right here, up here in the knitting, gritting, putting stuff. Oh, you know what? Can't do it that way. Consumers who have their rights violated. Think that's the document. Can't send out this document because this document has people's names. Let's see. Alright. We're going to go, this is the last paragraph before we get to people's, let's see. That's what I'm talking about. We can do the beginning. I want to do the first document, though, let you see the very, 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 very first one that we sent to the comptroller of the currency. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why the comptroller of the currency? Yeah, why the comptroller of the currency? Why can't you just send it to X, Y, and Z? Why you got to send it to G and B and comptrollers? And because it works that way. Let's see. You know what I ought to do? Emancipation Free Will Act indeed. Okay. Consumers who have their rights. United States Department of the Treasury, Comptroller of the Currency. This is the document that was sent out. We know that some of you are going to... I don't like the word stupid, but there's no other word I can think of right now. Some of you are going to be very stupid, and you're going to use the Legal Redress Commission's letterhead. Please understand that if I find that you've used our letterhead, especially after we explicitly told you not to, then I assure you, you have my word, that I will pay for my own flight to your area and file the lawsuit against you in your area for copyright infringement and interfering with my right to conduct business. So do not use our letterhead at all. That's the best way I can explain it to you, because some of you are just not going to get it. Some of you think that you can do whatever you want to do. That's why some of you are in the position you're in now. Because you choose not to listen. Or you choose to listen when you feel like it. But your feeling like it doesn't always coincide with reality. Okay. We gotta make this a little bit smaller one more again. Because this video is gonna be about the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. Alright, so let's cover this document that we're sending to the Comptroller of the Currency. Unlawful fraudulent conveyance, deceptive practices in violation of the Truth in Lending Act, the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Freedom of Information Act, revocation of power of attorney, and notice of breach of trust and dissolution of contract.
So much in one document?
Well, that's what we do. All right, let's continue. This is to the Comptroller of the Currency. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but previously you were sent communication by way of presentment regarding the violations of several federal laws by more than 30 financial institutions. Each of these financial institutions is obligated under law, act in good faith. It's supposed to be to act in good faith. But has yet to show any good faith efforts. You have failed to act. You, the Comptroller of the Currency, supposed to be our voice recognition. We corrected this on the other one. We didn't correct this on the people side. Sorry. Supposed to correct this for this video, but didn't do it. Sorry. Just wouldn't be prudent. Alright. You have failed to act in good faith. And are obligated under law to act and to prevent, if necessary, the violation of law. It's supposed to be further. Further violations of law. The Comptroller of the Currency oversees all financial institutions. Now, many of you are not understanding where we're getting that from, so this is not where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be in Firefox. Firefox, come on over here. That's right, Firefox. Alright, Comptroller of the Currency. Where are you at, Comptroller? OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. That's what OCC stands for. Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out who the Comptroller of the Currency is. Would you like to know? The Comptroller of the Currency. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. Ensuring safe and sound national banking system for all Americans, including non-citizen nationals. Now, the Comptroller of the Currency's telephone number is right here, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who may want it at the end of this video. 1-800-613-6743. Now, general correspondence goes to the Comptroller of the Currency Administrator for national banks. That's where this went. I don't care about it being general. I don't care about it being a private. All I want to make sure is that they get it. Okay? Just that simple. So, let's find out why we send it to the Comptroller of the Currency. Backspace. Okay. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. Oh, let's find out some of the things that's going on. We're going to go back one because I want y'all to see what happened. Fines HSBC Bank USA $500 million. Penalty against the bank. We need to find out what that penalty was. Deadline for eligible borrowers to request free review December 31st, 2012. A free foreclosure review. Disaster preparedness and response. Nah, not interested in that. What you need to know. Independent foreclosure review. Nah, we don't want an independent foreclosure review. We have our foreclosure review. We're bringing the information right to your attention. So basically, we are asking for a foreclosure review. Me and all of my peoples. Now, why the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency? Because they oversee all national banks. You mean to tell me they over the what's that place called? Federal Reserve thing. That bank thing. That's right. They're over the Federal Reserve Bank. So you might look at the comptroller of the currency as Big Papa, as I said in the last video, and the Federal Reserve Bank as Big Mama. Okay? Martin Lawrence, Big Mama. Anyway, so now that we have the comptroller of the currency and knowing what their responsibilities are, we figured, why should we sue the bank? You look, if a child comes up to your front door, has a rock in his hand, and he throws it at your front window. Oh, well, let me say the word right. Window. He throws it at your front window. What you do? You go ahead and you go to his parents' house and you knock on that door right there and you tell him. You say, hey, that blasted dang nabbit child of yours just busted out my window. Pay up or I'm taking you to court. You don't sue the child. Children are incompetent. The banks are incompetent. They just told you that. That's why they just penalized them. They put them in a penalty box for $500 million. They spanked them. All right, they the parents. So you don't go after the children. The children are immune. The parents are responsible for the child. Didn't y'all learn anything in school? Now, before we finish talking about this video, let's let you know the angles that most people are not getting. People are trying to figure out, how are you able to live in an apartment for 6 months and not having once paid an electric bill? And not have one single notice sent to you telling you need to pay an electric bill? People, I can't explain it to you. This is just what I do. In other words, I don't act like a debtor. Don't you understand that there is no law requiring you to pay for electricity, which is natural? It's a natural thing. The only thing you're paying for is the services. You have no access to lawful money. Well, technically, there is no lawful money because nothing out there is backed by anything of substance. Once they took the substance away from you, then they talked about bringing it back in 1982 by doing a repeal partially of HJR 192. That doesn't help you because they'd already taken all the gold away. So you have no means to reacquire the gold. Now, if they had given you back the gold, that would have been a different story. But the United States government has stood as surety for the people. Wait a minute. What you mean the United States government stood as surety for the people? Well, the United States government said, hey, we're going to take all of your gold. But the law requires that we provide a remedy for you once we take your gold away. Okay, you ignorant little bastards. Don't like that word, so I don't actually say it. But that's what they said. We gonna sit up here and give you full faith and credit. We ain't gonna tell you about it, but we gonna give it to you. And with your full faith and credit, you're able to acquire things. So I don't want to talk about bankruptcy in this video. I want to talk about full faith and credit. We've shown you the videos where the United States have full faith and credit. If you don't believe me, just type in Google full faith and credit. Where does the United States get its full faith and credit? Well, if you take a look at Public Law 93-224, you will find that the United States borrows that from the public. As a matter of fact, the United States borrows quite a bit from the public. It's a shame that you all don't know this. So if they're constantly borrowing from you, wait a minute, they're borrowing from you. Well, what are they providing you in return? They're providing benefits. Benefits? What benefits are they providing? Well, they're giving us clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. Really, those are benefits? No, those are basic human necessities. Basic human necessities. You don't believe me? Go look at the International Law on Human Rights. Interesting, ain't it? So what are they providing you?
Benefits. I just told you, benefits.
Well, what type of benefits?
Well, they're giving us Social Security.
Social Security?
Social Security. You know you on Social Security.
Oh, Social Security.
That's what I said, dagnabbit.
Okay, well, yes, they give you Social Security. And what do you do with Social Security?
I buy things.
You buy things? Really? So they give you Social Security. What do they give you for Social Security?
Well, they give me a check or they put some stuff on my credit card.
Really? So what is it worth?
Well, they tell me it's worth $600, well, now $710 a month.
Really? They say it's worth that? Interesting. Who gave it that value?
Well, we did.
That's the first right thing you said this whole conversation. You're absolutely right. You gave it that value when you accepted that obligation. But Social Security is not a benefit. And don't let anyone else tell you that. Because when they quote-unquote pay you, they're not paying you with anything of substance. Okay? They're not paying you with anything of substance. So it has no value.
Well, it only has the value we import to it.
That's right. So now you need to clarify that value. But let's get back to how certain people are paying their bills without spending dimes, nickels, quarters, pennies, and Federal Reserve note dollars.
Well, how are they doing it? I need to know because I got some bills I want to pay.
Well, see, here's the problem. Many people think that this is a
get out of jail free card.
No, sorry, there is no get out of jail free card. I know there are a lot of people singing that song. There are a lot of people singing that song, but many of those people who are singing that song are keeping that information to themselves. And that's a shame. So the idea is you have to fight. You have to take off the gloves. You have to get bare knuckle. And you got to start tapping them aside their head. Many of you sitting up there kicking their leg like a little child. Well, stop kicking them and start hitting them so that they can understand. Because right now they don't get it. So I sent the Our Style Treasury money order. Only $700 worth. I don't use a lot of electricity. I don't have a TV. I have a freezer, a deep freezer. I think it's like 50 cubic feet or something like that. And I have it on a timer so that it doesn't stay on all day. And if I had a refrigerator, I would have it the same way, but a freezer is a lot better because the food never really thaws, so it always stays colder than cold. And so with the freezer on a timer, it's not wasting a lot of electricity. And because the timer is off for maybe 6 hours at a time, then I'm not ruining the motor of a freezer that's designed to stay on all day. You get me? Okay. So that everybody understands what's going on here, your full faith and credit is what allows the United States government to function. And it, by way of your full faith and credit, now has full faith and credit. All the powers not delegated to the government and Congress are retained by the people. So if the government has full faith and credit, which we have already discussed they get from you, then that means you have full faith and credit. And your full faith and credit is worth just as much as the United States as a whole and as every single individual independently and collectively, because there is equal protection of law.
But how's the United States standing as surety? Huh? You ain't explained that yet.
Well, I was just getting to that. I just had to explain how we got to where we're getting to. So now that we know that you have full faith and credit, the United States government knows that you have full faith and credit. But they threw something out there. Shazam! Y'all remember that show, Shazam? Well, it's like a musician who goes poof.
A rabbit appeared. Oh, look at that. It's a cute little bunny.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what the United States did. They created this thing we call the straw man. They don't call it a straw man. You won't find a single legal case where the courts refer to that legal person, that's what they call it, or legal fiction, that's what they call it, or collective entity, that's what they call it, as a straw man. But they will call it everything else but a straw man. They will call it a legal entity. They will call it a collective entity. They will call it an artificial person. They will call it an individual. They will call it a state. But they will not call it a straw man.
Well, how are they standing as surety? Come on, I thought you said you were going to get to the point.
Well, in order for you to get to the point, you have to start from someplace. So shut up and let me get to the point. Ladies and gentlemen, because I love this song, by the way. I really do love this song. But I'm going to get to the point so that all of you can get it. They created the straw man. It is their invention, their creation.
Well, okay, well, how are they standing as surety?
Because they are the parents of that entity. They created it, which means they're responsible for it.
Oh.
That's why when the banks, you sign a mortgage note, they pay it to the order of someone and they get the parents to pay them for the damage just caused by the children.
Really? Well, that makes sense because it's your legal person that gets the loan, not you.
That's correct. It's the collective entity, the legal person, the legal fiction, the artificial entity, the collective entity. That's the one who gets the loan. That's the one who gets the credit card. That's the one who gets to engage in commerce. And we are sitting up here trying to take away their responsibility, and I'm telling you, stop taking away what they deserve. Let them stand as surety. You don't need to stand as surety for that entity. Everybody has all these ideas on how to get out of the system. This is not about getting out of the system. We just showed you the new document, the Declaration of Providence. Basically, what we were doing is we were redoing the Declaration of Executorship and cutting out a lot of the filler that didn't belong there. Because we don't need to copy them. But we did need to make sure specific things were stated in that document. And it is up on the website. Many people have called me and told me how they liked the document. Basically, look, it was just a matter of putting something together that encompassed everything that everybody else had already been doing. Go ahead and compare it to the 12 or 13 or 15 documents done by the gentleman named McBride, and compare it to the Declaration of Executorship, the Dissolution of Trust document, and the All Corpse document that the Legal Redress Commission did. Compare it to all of those pages, all of those documents, and see how that document covers everything, including the act of state. Okay? And it rebuts every presumption so that if they want to, and it rebuts those presumptions by a preponderance of evidence, by way of affidavit. That is the preponderance of evidence, because an affidavit that is unrebutted stands as what?
Fact in law. Fact in law. That's what it stands for. I studied that. So that stands for fact in law.
You're absolutely right. An unrebutted affidavit stands as fact in law. And it cannot be rebutted at a later time. There's a certain time frame to rebut an affidavit. And all affidavits don't necessarily have to state 14 days, 21 days. Okay? They don't have to state that. It's an affidavit. That's a maxim. Okay, so the maxim for unrebutted affidavits, international law. Interesting, ain't it? So now you see how the United States government stands as surety for the people. That's why they're in control. That's why they're in charge. Because they have elected to stand as surety. That's why the First Amendment says that Congress shall make no law abridging the right of the people to petition their government for redress of grievances. They can't make a law prohibiting you from doing that. Why? Because they are standing as surety, as mama and daddy. The children go to mama and daddy to get them to correct the things that are wrong. And so the government is saying, come to us and we'll correct the problem. Now I know sometimes the fiduciaries are not doing their job, but that's where stamina comes in. That's where due diligence. Now we'll explain it while I read this letter so that you can understand, okay? But this letter is going out to the comptroller of the currency, and no, it won't be up on the site, so if you want to take the time to pause this video every 5 seconds and jot it down, knock yourself out. The comptroller of the currency oversees all financial institutions within the United States and its borders, and those who wish to conduct business within the United States and its borders must do so in accordance with the laws of the United States of America. Because this information was brought to your attention, Comptroller of the Currency, and because you are required by law to respond directly to the Legal Redress Commission, the redress right organization, we must now put you on notice of our intent to sue your organization for violation of elements of the Consumers of the United States of America, for actively participating in an attempt to defraud the American public and violate the financial laws of both the United States of North America and international law commonly known as the law of nations. Ain't that something? Look at what they done did. That's Al Green. Look at what we've done. We're not obligated or required to give you an opportunity to correct your inactions, but we will make this final attempt at good faith to get you to do the job you are required to do under law. Please note, any reference to consumer is to be referred to as the borrower and vice versa. None of the information contained herein is to be construed under any circumstances. The intentions of the presenter shall remain his, and the Interpretations Act shall not apply to any of the communications / presentments presented to your organization. All typographical errors and or purported misapplication does not invalidate any other sections of any other presentments presented to you or your organization. Supposed to be to your organization. I should have just took the names out and just corrected this one. But sorry, couldn't give you everybody's names. That's why we're going to stop when we get there. This presentment shall stand as your lawful notice and shall not constitute a complete list of the violation of entitlements and rights of the consumers. But we're going to talk about the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. Now, for some of you who don't have an understanding of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, I told somebody 690. It's 1692 when I referred to the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, and I'm sorry. That's my fault. I was wrong. But if you want to know about the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, just go to Google and type in, not there, common violations of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. See? Common violations of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. Common violations of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. Oh, look at that. A lot of common violations. Well, let's see. It says there is abundant evidence to use of the use of abuse and deceptive, unfair collection practices by many debt collectors. This includes student loans, taxes, and anything else where the individual is a debt collector. By the way, in the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, it says that the courts are not acting as debt collectors if it's in the normal course of their business. However, here's the point. They are not government agencies. The courts are collecting debts. Okay, that's exactly the point, and they are obligated under the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act to provide validation as well as verification. Abuses abusive debt collection practices contribute to a high number of personal bankruptcies and marital instabilities, the loss of jobs, and an invasion of individuals' privacy. I like the word privacy better than privacy. It is the purpose of this guide to help consumers identify and eliminate abusive debt collection practices by debt collectors.
What consumers should do?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you get the time,
Oh, baby!
sorry, whenever you get the time, you can go over that. Okay, there are several. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself inside, so I apologize. That baby thing, I apologize. That was just out of the blue.
Sorry!
Okay, these are the many different pages we were able to pull up this morning. And it took less than 15 seconds because we just typed in common debt collector violations. They're all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. There are so many sites where this is what they talk about. This is Gookings, Kerning, and Associates. They help people with debt, and they tell you about violations, examples of violation. Look at that. They don't give you the gauntlet. But they give you the majority, and which is enough. So let's talk about some of those violations. Common Fair Debt Collection Practices Act violations. Debt collectors are not permitted to ask a consumer to pay more than they purportedly owe. By failing to validate the debt, each of the debt collectors are doing exactly that. By failing to verify the debt, they are further violating the law. By failing to provide a certified statement of accounting as requested and required under the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 9, they're violating, it's supposed to be they are. So let's give me my Y, apostrophe, ER. I like that one. I know, but I like that one. Okay. Thank you. Since people don't like me doing things my way, I like my way. Uh-oh, my mouse jumps. It's sensitive. They're violating the Uniform Commercial Code in reference to mortgage. And that's Article 9. Article 9 was amended so as to deal with the securitization and the other things, the remix and all of that, mortgage-backed assets. That's what Article 9 deals with. The debt collector has added on additional fees that were never part of the agreement produced to the consumer / borrower and is a violation of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, 15 U.S.C. 1692 F, subsection 808(1). You can get a copy of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act from readersright.org /PDF. Okay? Because an accurate certified statement of accounting has yet to be provided, the actual amount purportedly owed is misrepresented and violates the rights as well as entitlements of the consumer / borrower. Each of the financial institutions to be known throughout as debt collectors have been given an order to cease and desist all telephonic it should be, communications. They were commanded to only communicate in writing with the Legal Redress Commission and or the Readers' Right organization via specific address. Each have failed as required by the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, 15 U.S.C. 1692, Section 804 and 805, which constitutes harassment under 15 U.S.C. 1692D, subsection 806 at 5. Whew. That was saying a lot, wasn't it, y'all? Well, let's continue. The purported debt collectors, financial institutions / you see it, have not only been argumentative, but have conducted themselves in a manner unbecoming of a debt collector as outlined in 15 U.S.C. 1692D at 806, number 2. Their language and conduct violates the basic and common standards of fair debt collectors or collections Practices Act and Business Etiquette.
Etiquette? Are you sure that's a good word to use in this?
That's right, because there is something known as business etiquette. Wells Fargo Home Mortgage has contacted this presenter on more than 7 occasions after being told no telephonic communications were permitted, including this morning.
At what time did they contact you? 7:45? Wait, I thought the law says they cannot contact you before 8 a.m. and after 8 p.m. That from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. no contact. That's right. Don't they have to pay for those violations?
When I bring the lawsuit, they do. Because guess what? They cannot wiggle out of this because they're guilty. Their actions are recorded. They are guilty. There is no wiggling. Because the presenter lives within the Atlantic time zone, the calls have taken place outside of the standards of 15 U.S.C. 1692C 805 at 1 A1.
What does that say?
It is a violation of law. It says from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. there are to be no calls by debt collectors.
Oh!
Each of the financial institutions have continued to call and harass the consumer/borrower after agreeing in a national settlement not to and are in violation of the binding settlement agreement. See, they are bound by that agreement. Each of the debt collectors in each of the financial institutions who represent these debt collectors, or the debt collectors purportedly represent these financial institutions, to stop, cease, and desist all of those deceptive mortgage practices. They're not stopping.
Never gonna stop. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never.
Anyway, because the debt collector /financial institutions have continued to call via telephonic communication when given a cease and desist order, they're in direct violation of 18 U.S.C. 1692C at 805 A1. Each of the financial institutions have violated the consumer's rights under the Fair Debt Collections Reporting Act by continuing to report the purported debt when a dispute was filed with their organization and they have failed to validate and or verify the debt. The law requires that all debt collection activities must cease until such debt is verified and or validated. There has been not one single incident of validating, but these financial institutions or debt collectors to date, by these fair debt to date, and we state that it is impossible for them to do so as note that exists. It's supposed to be in reference to the note that exists. We are going to be updating the readersright.org site very soon. Wanted to let you know that this is going to be the song in the background. I played it in the last video. It's called I Know How You Feel. Let's get this gentleman's name right for the first time. John. Is that Wetton? W-E-T-T-O-N? That's John Wetton. Come on, John. I know how you feel. I just like the way the song is done. Let's get his partner, Geoff Downs, composed by those two. I like it. Honestly. I honestly like the song. Never heard of him before, but I like the song. Okay. Let's see what it says in number 8. The financial institutions and our debt collectors are A-R-E, not O-R. I can't use the other one because that has people's names in it. Threatening to take property that is not theirs to take This is a violation of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, 15 U.S.C. 1692E at 8075. Debt collectors are prohibited and or forbidden to report a purported debt to anyone once they have been told to cease and desist all debt collection activity by the consumer or their representatives. That's what 1692C 805B says. Okay? Because the debt has yet to be validated, reporting to the several different credit reporting agencies is a violation of federal law because they're reporting it to third parties, which they are forbidden to do. That's right, forbidden. Each of the homes were required to have mortgage default insurance, which was supposed to protect the creditor in reference to each of the matters brought to your attention. The debt collectors, financial institutions have committed insurance fraud, financial fraud, and violated several other federal and local laws as a result of their conduct. They continue to foreclose on homes despite the issue of the insurance on the property. And then after they foreclose on the homes and the borrower has been deprived of their property without due process of law, they then fraudulently apply for mortgage default insurance. Not only do the financial institutions continue to pay the insurance month after month during a foreclosure, but when brought to their attention that the borrower is in default, their own documentation indicates that they knew that the borrower was unable to pay and was in default. They do not use this as a first means of recourse, which is required by law, the path of least resistance. Each of our clients are honorary members of the Legal Redress Commission, and as such, each of the financial institution / debt collectors have been told what the Redress Commission will accept as a means of communication and have violated those terms in violation of federal law. That's right, they're trying to ignore the commission, but we're going to let them know how much we like being ignored. Not only have the debt collectors / financial institutions failed to give proper notice, but they further violate law by ignoring the response requirements under law. 1692G at 809 tells them what they're required to do when they receive a dispute letter. Although the law says that all debt collection activities must cease until the debt is validated and are verified, each of the financial institutions / debt collectors continue to violate federal law. That is the law that says they must cease until they validate. Certification of the validation of debt as well as the verification of the debt has been demanded by each of the financial institutions and it's supposed to be to date, not the date. Voice recognition. I wish I would have just took the names out, but I didn't have time today. I've been running around town all day. To date, they have failed to provide. Sending a paper known as a financial statement that is not signed and or certified does not constitute a valid certified statement of accounting and violates the rights of the consumer / borrower. After receiving a presentment to cease and desist all communications until the debt has been validated and or verified, each financial institution / debt collectors have violated federal law. We put the laws in here only for their benefit. Because there are more than 35 different financial institutions, we're supposed to be apostrophe there. That's not an apostrophe. We're going to annex a list and incorporate this information on the several different letters. You are to address every instant, but you are to address each and every instance separately, specifically as it relates to each consumer / borrower and each of the financial institutions associated with these matters. Normally, you would be given 30 days to provide a proper response, but because you have failed in your fiduciary responsibilities, you're only given a 15-day grace period. That is 15 calendar days to provide a written response 2. The Legal Redress Commission Readers' Right Organization. If you fail to provide that written response, we will add your name as the lead defendant in the matter involving these financial institutions, their conduct, and your failure to act and refusal to prevent further violation of rights, entitlements, local, state, territory, and federal laws. Thank you very much for your time, as we believe that there is a violation of international financial laws here, and because of the violation of the laws of humanity, we know that you will do everything within your power as fiduciary to carry out your responsibility in helping to bring this to closure and equitable resolution. Your friends here at the Legal Redress Commission. This is the last set of paragraphs. You were warned before about communicating with the Legal Redress Commission, Redress Right Organization. This presentment is being sent to you via registered mail. You have 15 calendar days from the date of receipt to respond. Your failure to respond will result in a complaint being filed against you in the several different jurisdictions for each of the consumers, and we shall ask for treble damages, plus the damages for violating the consumer's good faith and credit standing as members of the public, non-citizen nationals of the United States of North America. Since the United States government and the banks it's supposed to be worked out with an ED. Sorry! Uh-oh, it's supposed to be a D, I say it. Worked out a settlement which stated that the amount of $26 billion was reasonable for the violations and misconducts of the financial institutions within the borders of the United States. You will understand that we will be seeking an amount greater than $5 billion. What is the resolution we're looking for? Got to get my apostrophe in there. Got to get it. It's got to be there. Where's my apostrophe? These fraudulent practices of the financial institutions and not in. I think, no, I did correct this on the other one. Thought I missed that one. Financial institution and debt collectors who were under your direct supervision must cease and desist. Each of the borrowers listed within this presentment and annex communication are to be made whole again and to receive recoupment as they are entitled to at a rate of 40% plus the original value of their homes. If the home was foreclosed on, then the financial institution must offer a property near to the location of the original within 5 miles and no greater than 10 miles, that they still maintain some type of ownership through one of their that's not supposed to be sought. I forgot what the word was changed to, and I don't feel like pulling up that other document. Let's do, that's supposed to be sub. I remembered that one, because I said the same thing when I looked at it the first time. U-B. This is the same two guys. I know it. I can tell it. Ear itching. Subcorporation to the borrower in addition to the aforementioned points. At the Legal Redress Commission and the borrowers, no, it's not supposed to be at. It's supposed to be the Legal Redress Commission and the borrowers are to receive information that you, the comptroller of the currency, will assure that such deceptive practices will cease and that you will aggressively go after violators who violate the rights of consumers and the people of the United States of North America. Final notice, final warning. It is not customary for us to continue to warn someone about their conduct and the consequences of such conduct if it continues, but we firmly believe in good faith and acting in honor. It is our intention to remain in honor and to always act in good faith. Although more than 102 days have passed since the first communication with you, You have yet to respond to the Legal Redress Commission. As the department overseeing the financial institutions within America, notice the agent is notice the principal. We must hold you accountable for your actions and the actions of those to whom you oversee. If you were in our position, you would do the same. As always, your friends here at the Legal Redress Commission, Readers' Right Organization. We are their friends because we stay in honor. And that's what this is all about, staying in honor. Your Honor? This is the annex document. We gave it a number. This is our annex document. That's why it will not be up on the web. Uh-oh. Gotta bring it up so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay. The following is a list of customers, their loan numbers, and financial institutions who have violated their rights by either failing to validate the debt, failing to verify the debt, and or failing to provide a certified statement of accounting. The other list supposed to be the other list of violations. Let's put of are included on the pages attached to the front of this presentment. In the communication /presentment entitled Unlawful Fraudulent, you already read that, people. We already went over that. So that there is no confusion, because we sent them several documents. Please note that although you may or may not have a policy about dealing with individuals who have a duly authorized power of attorney, yes, if you have a policy, it is not our concern. Our concern is for our clients and for the rights as well as entitlements of the people of the United States of North America. Corporate policy, corporate interests, corporate ideas are not the subject here and shall not be the subject in the future. Each of the listed financial institutions below have been told that it is a firm belief that the notes associated with each of the loans have been altered. People, I got a call coming in, and I got to take it, so y'all give me 1 second. That was one of my mortgage people, ladies and gentlemen, and he actually apologized for calling me while I was doing a video. I told him I'd call him back after I did the video, but I told him, how could he know? I told him I don't deal with psychics. And psychics get on my nerves, because they always getting in your business when you didn't tell them to get in there in the first place. Each of the listed financial institutions have been, it's a firm belief that we stopped right here, that these loans have been altered after the contract was initiated. They have failed to provide a copy of the original contract. It's supposed to be. Don't know where that stupid word came from. Which validate the agreement, and that the contract has not been voided by the placing of such words commonly known as paid to the order of without recourse. Several copies appear to have this documentation, which seems to indicate that the account has been settled and that the debt collector financial institution is actively participating in a conspiracy to defraud the American public, the American government, and to violate several federal laws, which indicates criminal conduct as well as criminal activities on a large scale. If we need to bring this information before a court of competent jurisdiction, it's supposed to be we will. So it's E and apostrophe. Will be highlighting the criminal violations, demanding that the criminal prosecution ensue if this matter is not dealt with in the courts with the law. Okay, dealt with in accords. That's ACCORDS. Accords with the law. Now, give me a second, y'all. There have been several misleading statements by the United States government and the financial institutions of the United States regarding mortgage fraud. First, the consumer has full faith and credit, so there could be no claim that they could not afford to pay for the original mortgage note as agreed. The United States is a credit-based and backed system. As the currency of the United States for the last 50 years has been credit, as it has been determined that legal tender is not currency and has never been construed as currency, as it is not backed by anything of substance, but the American consumer is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. Each of the notes associated herein had an original loan number. However, some, if not all, of the consumers have had their loans. We have notes and we have loans. Oh, that's not loans. I don't know why I keep making the same mistake, because I did that earlier. Loan number changed several times, indicating that it is not the original account. Fraudulently setting up these different accounts would not, it's supposed to be without. Without notifying the borrower is further proof that the Truth in Lending Act has been trampled on several times by these financial institutions and their deceptive mortgage practices. It is at this time that we must accuse them of violating the rights as well as entitlements of the American public, the American government, and several federal as well as state laws which gives I don't know how this song came on twice, which gives and provides criminal penalties for such violations. Under the United States Code Amendment, subsection 4, mispersion of felony, we are now bringing this information to your attention, and if you fail to act, you will be in violation of the very same said law. And that's right, very same said law. That is purpose on my part. And will be acting as co-conspirators against the rights, will, wishes of the American public, the American people, and the American government, and the laws of the United States of North America. Now, the American public and the American people are two different groups. Y'all need to understand that. The American government is a different group than the United States. Different. Below is a list of borrowers who have each given collectively and separately a notice of termination of contract from their position as grantor of the trust agreement. The fiduciaries and trustees were and are obligated under trust law to cease and desist any further activities under any circumstances with reference to them relating to the agreement. To date, they stand as not passengers. Gotta get. Didn't want to move that G. Get out of there, G. Yo, what up, G? Okay, sorry. Been a long time. Trespassers in violation of trust law and have no immunities under law. The United States Department of the Treasury, Comptroller of the Currency, is not an agency of the United States government, but a corporation registered in Maryland and will be sued in their corporate capacity for failing to prevent and failing to act to correct the wrongs done to the American public as well as the American consumers listed herein. One final opportunity to correct the purported violations is extended at this time, as aforementioned, 15 calendar days from this presentment. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of what I can show you. Wait, gotta pause it. Give me 1 second, y'all. See, that wasn't that long. That was a second, wasn't it? In the past, the Comptroller of the Currency has forwarded documents, presentments to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is an inadequate means of redress, and although they purport to be a government agency, they do not have the authority to enforce the law. However, the Comptroller of the Currency is the supervising agency for all financial institutions, along with its sister partner, the Federal Reserve Bank. A copy of this communication /presentment will be sent to the United States Attorney General's office, and I'm advising all of you, If you have a mortgage situation, contact the state's attorney general. I know they're not going to do anything, but you must show that you've exhausted your administrative remedies to advise them of the conduct of these financial institutions who signed a contract, a binding agreement to stop, S-T-O-P, with the deceptive and misleading practices. You have one final opportunity to correct this madness. Your failure to respond accordingly will result in the prosecution of those in a position to prevent this continual attempt to defraud the American public, the American government, and to violate the laws of the United States of North America. And that's the way it ended, y'all. That's the document. That is the document. Okay? You get it? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We are using the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, and we're going to do this by asking all of you, type into Google, let's go up. Oh, I wanted to apologize for some of y'all. Y'all know I've been playing a lot of music in the background. There's one woman that I ain't played, and I'm sorry for that. Anita Baker. Y'all gonna say Whitney Houston. I played enough Whitney Houston. But Anita Baker, I ain't played that woman in a long time. No, I love Anita Baker. Despite all of the rumors and gossip about Anita Baker and her work ethic, the woman can sing. Okay? And I love my Anita Baker. I listen to her all day today in my automobile with my MP3. Well, not MP3. It's a flash drive. I get to plug into the stupid radio, just put it right in the flash drive slot, and it plays music. Over 1,300 songs. A lot of music on one little flash drive. All right, well, that's enough. That's all I wanted to tell all of you today. We're going to title this one exactly what this page says, Common Violation of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. That's what this video is going to be called. See, called. C-A-L-L-E-D. No, T-C-A-L-L-E-D. Called. No, we'll do T-A-L-L-E-D. That's called. That's right, called. That's what this video is going to be called. Like I said, I'm tired. But I'm actually glad I was able to get through this without any major bumps. We must state to all of you, because there are a lot of you who are just catching on to the Legal Redress Commission, just watching the videos for the first time because you're just waking up to the fact that we're here. Because we don't advertise, so you probably watched all the other videos of all the other people because there are a lot of people passing their stuff around. But I promise you, go ahead and take a look. Look at the last 6 videos that this man, this group, this organization has done. Look, just go and look. And tell me who else is bringing forth the same information. None of this information is new. Wait, let's prove it to you. You see this thing says, Common Violation of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act? I want the whole lines because I need to... What I need to do is... Nope. I need that top line. I'm doing fine, fine, fine. Sorry. Cop. Beat. Alright, let's show you something to prove that this information is not new. I am looking for the copyright thing. Oh, this says 2012. I thought it was going to say something like, 2009, 2008. But that means that they updated the site. Yeah, this one was updated. Well, they're both the same thing because that says about.com. No, they're two different websites. Okay. Michael Forbes. Let's see, Mike, when did you... That's just your address. I'm looking for your copyright notice at the bottom of your page. He doesn't have one. But he's got the scales of justice. Know your rights. Stop harassment. Debt collection abuses. Harassing phone calls. Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. Fair Credit Reporting Act. Credit report errors. Foreclosure defense. Defending credit cards. Lawsuits. Junk debt buyers. Hey, you know what? I don't want to go to that site. I'm glad it didn't click. But let's let you know what the name of this site is, because I think the information Michael Forbes, Michael P. Forbes. He put this information out there so that people can have access to it. So let that be the last thing that we do today. That's because I have 2 versions of Microsoft Office up here, and I'm really going to have to get rid of one of them. 2010 is an okay version. 2013, there's some more twists and turns in 2013, but I think I'm going to get rid of 2013 and keep 2010. But so that this pulls up, what we're going to do is we're going to give you Michael Forbes' website address so that those of you who want to have access to it and go look on his site for additional information, by all means, please do so. Sorry, I had to take a swig. You know, us single individuals, we have to do our whiskey every once in a while. Don't it sound like he on whiskey or something, honey? So I am dehydrated because it was almost 80 degrees here today. No, it was actually over 80 degrees. So now, all of you sitting up there freezing your anuses off, and there's a lot of you freezing your anuses off. Why? Because y'all in them states that don't know how to stay warm. That's right. Y'all ain't learned how to stay warm. Y'all need to learn how to stay warm. Michael Forbes, the attorney at law website is mforbeslaw.com. M as in Mary, Forbes, Forbes, law, LAW.com. And we have the contact us part there. Just giving you the information on his site, because his site allows you to choose several other things. It didn't let me do anything because it timed out on me. Time out! Okay, time out. So foreclosure defense, debt collector abuse after bankruptcy, your credit after divorce, zombie debts. Oh no, they're coming to get us, honey. Zombie Debts, that's the new major blockbuster that is coming out in a theater near you starting December 23rd. Or is it December 24th? I am going to go out on a limb. I don't usually predict things, but I can guarantee you by December 24th, the world will still be turning. People will still be robbing, stealing, and killing. And yes, the Mayans calendar will have proved to be a farce. Now, do I believe? Yes, of course I do. I believe that the stars' alignment do have some bearing on attitudes of people. We can tell you this because the barometric pressure can change attitudes, that people's attitudes can change when they're nearer or closer to water as opposed to being in the desert, being in a hot climate all the time. So yes, the environment, natural environment, can affect the psyche of people. So the Mayans being able to indicate that something was going to happen, what happens on that date? Apparently all them planets are going to be in a straight line. It's not the first time in history that's happened. No, the last time in history they said was like 48 billion quadrillion years ago. Really? Do they have any proof? Well, no, they don't actually have any proof. They just have the alignment of the stars and knowing that it works like a timetable. See, this man is not telling any of you that the universe is dead. The universe is very much alive. The universe is very much in motion, constantly moving, constantly expanding. Just like a tree. People didn't believe that they were alive until scientists proved in the 80s that trees were alive. People, I sing to my tree. I sing to my flowers. Many people were doing all kind of dumb commercials about that, and TV shows and interviews and news footage. So, things in nature are alive. Is the universe conscious? Kiss my anus. If the universe was conscious, none of you would be here. Because the universe would have excremented you out a long time ago. Because Well, technically, if the universe was alive, the universe would not be able to handle imperfection. Because the strongest and the fittest survive. Remember, that was the idea that they had. So no, the universe is not conscious so as to be able to correct this or that. And if you don't believe me, just go back and look at history. Now, there is one universal law. If you plant an apple seed in the ground, you water it, you fertilize it, you give it enough sunlight, an apple tree will grow. It's just that simple. Why? Because it's you reap what you sow. That is a universal law no one can get around. Not one single person, not one single entity, not one single thing can get around the you reap what you sow. Consequences, actions. Actions, consequence. You can't get away from that. That is the way it is. Like I told you, they did a show, a TV show, and I liked it, and they took it off, which was stupid. ABC, stupid. Disney and ABC and Time Warner. What these idiots thinking? Well, anyway, it was called Daybreak. It starred Taye Diggs, and one of the characters in the show would tell him, actions, consequence. And he would keep repeating that. You hear it in the Matrix. The reason why you keep hearing people repeat stuff like that, because it is karma. What goes around comes around. It's you reap what you sow. It's a universal law. Every culture, every society, even plants, animals, and things understand that concept. For instance, if my cat were to come over here and scratch me on my leg, she knows that she would be a part of the wall, at one with the wall. And that would be her epitaph and legacy. And she knows that. That's why she doesn't do it. I have a neighbor's dog that keeps barking at me. And barking, I mean really barking in a mean way. So I literally tapped it on the nose. I had a hammer in my hand. No, I didn't have a hammer in my hand. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not joking. Anyway, when I tapped it on the nose, it stopped barking. As a matter of fact, it didn't bark at me for the rest of the night. Then I come back today, and she did the same thing. So I tapped her on the nose again. And she stopped barking. Why? Because she knows that it might lead to being tapped on the nose again. That was something I learned about training a dog just with a newspaper. Just tapping it on the nose. Does it work with all dogs? Look, I'm not going to sit up here and talk to you about dog training. You want to know about dog training? Type in dog training in YouTube. There are quite a few people that will sit up there and teach you how to train your dog. It's not the show for it. We're training the system. We're trying to get them to act right. So y'all join with me and get them to act right. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in the other video I did Gene Elkins, and I put Gene Elkins' number on the video. And a couple people have called Gene Elkins, but Gene hasn't called me back. And so I'm going to need your help. I'm just going to need, and no, I'm not trying to harass Gene. J-E, that's an R, E-N-E. Uh-oh, that R is still there. Get out of there, Robert. Okay. E-L-K-I-N-S. He is the attorney. That's not supposed to be a D. Where David go? S, I say it. Okay, Elkins. And Gene, I got to look up his number on my phone because he's in speed dial. I'm kidding. I don't need Gene in my speed dial. He gets on my nerves. Gene Elkins claims that none of your mortgages have a farm loan on it. Now, I'm just thinking Gene is a liar. But I just, you know what I'm thinking we should, and Gene is with a G. Now, why did I spell it with a J? Because G and J sounds almost alike. Well, that's probably why I did it, yeah. If you say it, that means that's why I did it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my phone is frozen in time. And so I'm going to have to unfreeze it. because I don't understand this. Just when I pulled up Gene Elkins, it wants to act stupid. Uh-oh. Yep, it's frozen in time, y'all. Well, looks like I'm not going to be able to put up Gene's information today. Psych. I'm definitely going to be putting it up in just a second as soon as I can get back to the section I'm supposed to be at, which means I have to go all the way back to his name again, tap on it again. We got the, uh-oh, that's the wrong section. I hit the wrong button, y'all. It's that tapping telephone thing, you know, that touchscreen stuff? It's good every once in a while, but it's not good every once in a while. But Gene Elkins is 341 457 7 55 88. This is Gene Elkins' numbers, ladies and gentlemen. He is quite the man, and he's not a man of his word. He promised to call me back, and he didn't. Yeah, we could keep it with a J because I think the J is the female name, but we're going to give him a little bit of respect because we got to stay in honor. And you have to stay in honor, so don't harass the man. Just ask him why hasn't he called back. And tell him he's supposed to keep his word. Just that simple. Some of you have time to give him a call and he'll leave a message. Just that simple. The man gave his word and he didn't keep it. So, let me make sure of that number again. Nope, that's the wrong number. Don't dial that number. Whew, messed up. It's 314. Whew, let me look at it. 314-457-5588. Whew, man, I'll be calling a whole different area. Who are you calling for? Who? No, ain't no mama's living here. No, don't call here no more. Nope, don't call here no more. I'm tired. I done received 15,000 calls just today. I can't get no sleep because they're calling all hours of night asking for this. And I told them that person don't live here. So I want to give you guys the correct number. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, I've taken enough of your time. Thank you for allowing me to bring you this video on... What were we bringing the video on? The Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, common violation, and our communication with the Fair Debt Collection... Oh, what the name of that stupid comptroller of the currency? Okay, so let's go back to that page. Uh-oh, that's a little too slow. I want to go all the way to the top. Because we keep rising to the top. Dougie Fresh. No, he's saying all the way to heaven. Before he said all the way to heaven, he said keep rising to the top. If you don't sit up there and rise to the top, you'll never make it to heaven. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Don't none of y'all start talking to me about who gets to go to heaven and why. I don't want to hear it. God, I'm sorry. What most of you don't understand, I make certain comments in these videos, and I make them on the sly, and people take it literally, and then they want to have a whole conversation about that one stupid comment, and then they want to run. I caught up to you, man. You just said the other day in your video that you're tired all the time. Well, here, take this. It's called Vada Mita Benjamin. That's Vada Mita Benjamin. Okay, that's what I go through. And it is so irritating. So, look, I will stick with the subject when I feel like it. But I'm going to start getting rid of some of your emails from my account. If you think that I'm interested in a subject, tell me why you think I would be interested in your email. Do not just send me a link saying, here, you might want to check this out. Because I'm going to block you. And I'm not kidding. I'm not going to announce it to everyone. I'm going to put it at the bottom of all the emails so everybody gets it. I had one guy email me saying, I know you don't like to answer questions, but I just need to ask you these 2 questions. People, as I said in the last video, this ain't about me not liking to answer questions. This is me telling you I will not answer any more questions because I don't have the time. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing us to come into your living room, into your home, into your bedroom, hopefully not your restrooms. And we want to let you know that this is the Legal Redress Commission at readersright.org, readersright.com. Com will soon be up, definitely. Just sent the individual, the webmaster, the documents, and then we're going to have to go over the documents to make sure we don't interfere with anything. Read us right at youtube.com/user/redressright and Skype at redress.right. Ladies and gentlemen, I've decided that since my Skype group they are not having real discussions, I'll give them topics like the Embassy of the United States of North America as listed at manta.com, and I was looking for individuals who were interested to find out information about that. And not one single member of that Skype group ever contacted me about that. Not a single member. Now, I will give one member, Bruce! That's my boy. Bruce Banner. No, that was David Banner. Bruce Banner. Anyway, Bruce! Thank you. He sent me the information from Manta. Now, we find out that the address on Manta is on the United States Secretary of State site. The Secretary of State's address. It's called the Department of State now, and she's no longer a secretary. It's no longer a secretary position. It's a department now. Well, anyway, that's the same address for the U.S. Embassy. Of course it is! Isn't the Secretary of State's office the emissary to all the nations? Of course it is. So of course that would probably be the embassy. No wonder they do apostilles there, huh? Thank you, Hank, who was not even part of that group, but decided to do the research and get that information to me. Thank you, Hank. So what I decided, I'm not going to share all of my information with the Skype group. I was going to, since the commission that I originally set up, and I want to tell all of you, I love the commission that we have now. I honestly do. I am thoroughly impressed with this group of people. And I don't see it ever being like the other commission. You see, the other commission, I could sit around and knew what each one was about. I knew they were not going to follow through on any of the information, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt every single time. But I had to do it that way so nobody could accuse me, as one individual did who had not even been a part of the commission for more than 3 weeks. She accused me of being a dictator. I'm a dictator, y'all, because I dictate. There's a joke that goes with that, but I'm not going to tell that joke because that's a tasteless joke. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Thank you once again for letting us come into your home and give you this information and also a little bit of entertainment. Just a little bit. Not a lot of it, but just a little, tiny, weeny, any bit. Have a good day. Have a good night.
I told you,
There's a Robert Master
to start that exit!
readdressright.org.
Nobody
No,
is to
Shadow.
leave this area!
It's complete pandemonium
that
out here.
helicopter?
The police are arresting everybody who hasn't
Civic
already accepted the inoculation.
Right there!
And the United Nations has declared martial law on the entire world. You can't even walk out in the street. We're told that the media will be the last ones to be inoculated. But I can't begin to tell you, they're shooting and killing everyone who's not accepted the inoculation. I was told that this was going to happen, but I didn't believe it was going to be in my lifetime. Wait! You told me that we're going to be able to complete this interview. Wait, you can't do this! You can't do this! No!
What are you saying that? Get over here! What we found! When? That we're not! I want that building destroyed! This is it! It's finally over, man. You see, everyone, the simple fact, everybody knows what's about to happen. Everybody sees it coming, and they don't know what to do. The problem is, nobody's preparing themselves for what's about to happen. Are you going to be prepared? Are you going to be ready? Well, start looking through your eyes and not through your mind. Open your eyes, and you'll be able to see. Thank you.
Once again, all voices are done by the Legal Redress Commission. None of this material is copywritten. We hope you liked it. People, you need to get prepared. So stay tuned to the Legal Redress Commission as we bring you more!